I neglected my girlfriend on the day of her father's funeral. My girlfriend to 3F and I to 5M had been dating for almost a year when tragedy struck. Her mother discovered that her father had passed while coming back home from shopping in the Philippines, her mom's home country. We're currently living in Spain, and this news came as a shock to everyone. It just so happened that this was the same day I was supposed to meet some of her cousins and her brother for the first time. I had gone over to her place because I wanted to be there for her when she got the news, even though I hadn't met her family before. I wanted to support her in whatever way I could, even if it was just being present. In the days that followed, I was there for her constantly, day in and day out, doing my best to comfort her as she processed the loss of her father. But for whatever reason, she never mentioned much about the day of the funeral. It was almost like a subject she wanted to avoid, and I didn't want to press her on it. I thought maybe she just needed space to grieve in her own way, so I didn't bring it up. I thought I was doing the right thing by giving her room to handle things as she saw fit. When they brought her father's body back to Spain, the day of the funeral finally came. Leading up to it, she had barely spoken about it at all. She didn't ask me to come, and I was aware that she shouldn't have to ask. Still, I wrongfully assumed it would be a private family event, and since I had never met her parents, I decided not to go. I figured it might be best to give her and her family some space to mourn together. Also, on the day of the funeral, I sent her a message saying that everything would be fine and that she should take her time. Her response was unusual, a bit distant, but I thought maybe it was just because she was dealing with so much. I didn't have the best judgment that day. I thought she needed space, so I waited for her to call me. When she finally did call later, she was completely hurt. I could hear the pain in her voice, and it hit me like a ton of bricks that I had made a huge mistake. We ended up breaking up the next day. I apologized profusely to her, but she said she couldn't trust me again. I've tried to make amends, but she's still deeply hurt by everything that happened. I feel nothing but guilt and shame for what I did. It was wrong of me not to be there for her, especially on such an important day. I don't know why I made the choices I did. They're not in alignment with my character at all. Am I such a bad person for my lack of support on that day and my lack of better judgment? I keep replaying everything in my head, wondering how I could have been so thoughtless. I feel terrible about what happened, and I don't know how to forgive myself. The regret was instant, and even though I've been talking to her to see how she's been feeling, she's made it clear that she doesn't want to come back right now. She says she needs space and isn't sure if she could ever be in a relationship with me again because the trust is broken. I completely understand that. She also says that while she wants to keep talking to me because I make her feel good, it contradicts everything else. It's confusing, and I'm not sure what to do. I've decided to give her the space she needs, even though it's killing me to be apart from her. The worst part of all of this is knowing that I hurt someone I care about so deeply. I feel like I failed her when she needed me most. I don't know how to move forward from this. How does one forgive themselves after making such a huge mistake? I feel like I let her down in the worst way possible, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to make it right. I keep asking myself why I didn't just go to the funeral, why I didn't try harder to be there for her. I thought I was doing what she needed, but I was so wrong. Now, all I can do is wait and hope that someday she might forgive me, even if I can't forgive myself. Every day, I wake up with this heavy weight on my chest knowing that I hurt her. I want to reach out, to comfort her, to somehow make amends, but I know that right now, she needs her space. I've been trying to take care of myself in the meantime, but it's hard. It's hard to eat, to sleep, to focus on anything other than the fact that I wasn't there when she needed me the most. I'm constantly plagued by the guilt of my actions, the regret of not being more present, more supportive. I just want to make things right, but I don't know if that's possible. I appreciate any thoughts or advice anyone might have. This situation has been weighing heavily on my mind, and I just don't know how to move forward. I know I made a huge mistake, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to try and make amends, even if that means giving her all the space she needs. But the waiting, the not knowing if she ever forgive me, is torture. I want to be better, to learn from this, and to never make such a mistake again. But I also want her to know how sorry I am, how much I regret my actions, and how much I still care for her.